Welcome another Sunday to my worship lessons. Um, as you know, most people go to church. I do my own from home. Now, mine is mostly history when it comes to preaching of Christianity. I have some concerns. From all the years we've been going to church, every day you go to church, they open the same Bible and they preach the same thing. Jesus loves you. Jesus is good to you. Give your life to the Lord. Pray to God for whatever you need. We know the story and we know the results because we've been seeing and hearing about this for years. Now, why is it that every day you go to church, they're preaching the same thing from the same book, but yet there's so many things out there to learn about Christianity? Why not teach us the history? Teach us other things. Teach us the basis of the faith. Teach us a little bit about the origin, the people who had a great play in this faith. We can look into things and we can figure out things. So I take a different route. I try to educate myself and the people around me who are interested in knowing a little bit different about the great beloved Christian faith. Today I'm going to touch a little bit of different things, but it's very important for me that I give you a brief history of Christianity and its origin in Jamaica. In 1609, when Spain actually invaded Jamaica from the Arawaks, they took with them Christianity for the first time ever in Jamaica. This form of Christianity was Roman Catholic, because the Spanish were Catholic people. They had fought and they had killed many people to maintain Catholicism. Now, for 155 years, Spain ruled Jamaica, and only Catholic Christians alone was in Jamaica for 155 years. It was not until 1664, 1665 when England captured Jamaica from the Spanish that England brought with them the Anglican Church, aka the Protestant Church, to Jamaica. And they banished the Catholic Church for 182 years. Catholic was removed from Jamaica, and it was in 1837 that Catholic was allowed to be re-practiced back in Jamaica. Now, after that, you have other churches. You have the Moravians Church, you have the Anglican Church. I just mentioned that. The Moravians in 1754 was very serious about preaching Christianity, because there was two rich slave owners in Jamaica who actually invited Moravian missionaries from England to come in and preach to their slaves, because it was by law. The king had passed the law in England that every English plantation owner has to convert all slaves into Christianity. And so it was done. But the most powerful religious group that was most effective in Jamaica to the slaves was the Baptists. This being because in 1783, an African-American black man who was a slave in Virginia, the United States, and he's from Virginia, but he became Christian in Georgia in a Baptist church. His slave master was a deacon in the church, and his slave master encouraging him into being baptized and become a Christian. He became a Christian, and he became the first black Baptist minister. So he was sent to Jamaica in 1783 to convert slaves into Baptists, and so he did. He went there and he was very successful, because this man was black. He was preaching that I was a slave and this is what the Lord has done for me. The Lord has made me a free man. So people was gravitating to this black man, giving them a black religion, giving a white religion, but it was a black man preaching to them. And he was accepted. His name is George Liley. George Liley. He was the first Baptist minister or missionary to be in Jamaica. And that is when Jamaica, a lot of slaves convert to Baptist, including Paul Boger, George William Gardner, and Sam Sharp. So with all this, this is how Christianity came to Jamaica, in short. But why not every day you get up, you preach the same thing in the church every day? Why not sometimes teach the history? I'm aware that some of you pastors or ministers or deacons yourself have no clue what I'm talking about. This is new to you, I know that. But spend some time and know your religion. Spend some time and understand where it's coming from. I know you may be afraid if you realize the truth of Christianity, you're going to burn the Bible. And I would agree with you, of course. But you're a man or a woman, whatever, but you're an adult with knowledge and common sense. Don't be scared. Research your religion. If it reaches a stage where you find out that this book is no good and you have to get rid of it, so be it. Get rid of it. But teach us something about religion. Teach us. Try to research about people like a guy named Athanasius and Arius. These are the two people who had a big fight in the 3rd century AD, during the reign of Emperor Constantine. That one is saying that Jesus and God is two separate people, and then the other is saying that Jesus and God is the same power, same everything, which he's the one who came out to be the winner. Athanasius, the one who came out to be the winner in the, if you look up the Nicene, the conference of Nicene or Nicaea. And Arius had to go into exile because he lost the case that Jesus and God is two separate people. And Athanasius is the guy who decides that only these 27 books of the New Testament is good enough for the Bible. Athanasius. Even in this conference, the Nicene conference, when they were arguing about this situation, Saint Nicholas, who now convert to Santa Claus. Saint Nicholas even got up, went across the room, and punched Arius in his face, because he's saying Arius is disrespecting Jesus Christ, saying Jesus Christ is of a lower level than God. And the history goes on. These are the things that put away the Bible sometime and teach the history of the Bible. Teach about King Henry VIII, who started the Protestant church, the one that we now follow. Once you're not a Catholic, you're a Protestant. Teach about Henry VIII, who had 6 wives, and he beheaded 2 of his wives. He had their heads cut off there in England. Teach about Queen Elizabeth II, who had Queen Mary of Scots, which is the mother of King James, also beheaded, because Queen Mary was a Catholic and Queen Elizabeth II was a Protestant, and she had her beheaded. Teach us these things, where Christianity is coming from. Or you're trying to hide things. You yourself don't know, but I'm saying sometimes put down the Bible. You've been reading the Bible for hundreds of years. Read the history of the Bible for a change. Teach the history of the Bible for a change. Or you want to read something in the Bible before I go? Read this in the Bible. Get 2 Bibles. Open one, Genesis chapter 1, and open the other one, Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 11, you're going to see they say the grass, the trees, and the plants were made, and they the 3rd day. But in Genesis 2, verse 8, it's going to say the grass, the plant, and the trees were made after man on day 6. Then you go to verse 20 in chapter 1. It said the birds were made from water from the ocean in day 5. But when you go to Genesis chapter 2 verse 19, it has the bird made out of the ground on day 6. Then you go back to Genesis 1 verse 24, and it has the animals made before man on day 6. But when you go to Genesis 2 verse 24, it has the animals made after man on day 6. Point these things out to us. Teach us these things, and let us choose for ourselves and look into things, because we have a knowledge to analyze and understand things. But my brethren and my friends, you can't be a Baptist and you go to a Baptist theological school and expect to learn something not being biased in benefit to Baptists. You go to an Adventist theological school, come on. You go to Jehovah's Witnesses theological school, a Catholic theological school, right? I'm point blank telling you, you're an idiot. If you really want to know theology, you study theology in a general form, non-biased of any religion, but study theology in a general aspect, where you learn about every religion and every denomination on an open-minded basis. Not narrow-minded down to a particular religion, because you're going to end up being biased. Because you're Christians because you're born in a Christian society. The others are Muslims because they're born in a Muslim society. What is wrong with thinking logically, applying common sense and gain knowledge? But I'm saying, instead of preaching to me every day how good God is, teach us a little bit of the history. Teach us about Emperor Constantine. Teach us about Athanasius. Teach us about Arius. Teach us about King Henry VIII. Teach us about King George. Teach us about Alexandria the Great. Teach us about Queen Mary. Teach us about Queen Elizabeth II. Teach us about, I just mentioned, Lord Darnley. Teach us about the time of the political aspect of England at the time when Jamaica was being ruled by England back then. Teach us about our society having only Catholic for 155 years before the Baptists and all others could come in. Teach us these things. Don't just preach and pray to us. Teach us and let us think with logical thoughts. But I challenge you to challenge me at any point in time. I beg of you to challenge me at any point in time. Please, please, please do. This lesson was taken from Common Sense and Knowledge, research from various resources. And I'm open for questions and comments. Love and manners. Happy Sunday.